Hello, everyone. This is Julie from Patchworks, and I am live from my sewing room tonight. And we are going to be doing another section of the butterfly quilt. So if you've never joined us on a Tuesday night like this, we're just hanging out at home in my sewing room, and I'm working along on the butterfly quilt, which is a super fun project. We have been just eking along and making a little bit of progress. So I hope you'll have fun and join us. If you are new to the project and think this is interesting, we do have patterns and kits available. So actually, do you know what I think we should do? I think I should pull up our website and show you how we can do that in case if you still needed to figure that out. So let me see here if I can just scoot this on. Gotta love technology. And share my screen here with you. Gonna add my screen. Share screen. Share tab. Gonna share this right here. Let's see. All right. So let me just make sure we see this here. We share it. And I'm going to bring it up for everybody to see. All right. So you can see. Hi, Lori. Thanks tonight. We did a little bit of a revamp to our website. So we posted our new arrivals up at the top. Just had to show you since we're here. We got all of our Moon Garden restocked, which is super exciting. And we have a quick tab here for our different Christmas lines. But what we're really interested in here is the butterfly quilt. So let me grab that for you. So we have the butterfly kit and the butterfly pattern. So the butterfly kit. I'm going to grab this, share this in the comments. And then I'm also going to grab that butterfly pattern. If you've never been on our website, super easy to navigate. And I hope you like the improvements that we made with our front page. All right, so now I can make that screen go away. Now that everybody knows how they can buy that and join in right away. So for everybody who's hopped on, thanks so much for joining us tonight. Little recap on what we've done so far. I always like to keep them in the fun project bags. We have more of those project bags, including the really cool Moon Garden ones coming in hopefully later this month. We have our intersection block. We have our mini cross, our chunky cross, our large log cabin. And then last week we were working on some filler strips. We fussy cut some dots. Looking at the cover quilt, Tula did not fussy cut them, so I guess I was a little OCD on that, but just an interesting exercise for what you can do for fussy cutting that, and some other strip fillers. So if you were wondering, are we too far along? You'll know, no, we are not too far along. We haven't even finished putting components together, much less started to put wings together. So lots and lots and lots of fun. Today, I thought we'd talk about the mini log cabin and maybe hop into the medium log cabin, depending on what time turned out to be tonight. So I'm just going to get to start cutting and sewing the mini log cabin, just so that you can see what pieces this is going to be. The mini log cabin is right these tiny, tiny, tiny blocks beneath the big circle. So there are 3 identical blocks per side for a total of 6. So this should be a really, really, really nice little chunk. If you're choosing your own adventure, there is this great coloring worksheet that you can change your colors. And if you are using the actual colors that Tula used, you are going to be using the peony palm, the sweet pea solid, and the stargazer solid. So last week we were using the stargazer and sweet pea, and I actually have a little bit leftover cut from that. And then also we have that fun star, or sorry, circle, the spot, the palm. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut and sew and have lots of fun. If you have any questions along the way, feel free to ask. And thanks to everybody for jumping in and joining and sharing time with us tonight. And then during the middle of all this, I might just have some fun other goodies to have to share with you. So we're going to see, I brought back today with me the better tripod from the store. So I'm going to see if we can get some better looks overhead with this one. So let's see if I can make a nice transition to look overhead. All right, so we might be shaky here for a moment while we turn this around. All right, this is pretty good. All right, here we go. Pretty exciting. I think we're going to be sideways, but that's okay. So what I'm going to do, this is the stargazer color here. This is my sweet pea. And then this is, oops, and then this one here is the peony palm. So this here, this stargazer is almost the exact same background. This light here is not quite studio lighting. So if I put it up to it, you can see that it blends really, really well. It's almost a true match. And then this one's a little bit lighter. Once again, I keep the cutting instructions off camera so that I'm not giving away any trade secrets here. This is going to make a tiny, tiny, tiny block. And here are some little scraps that I use there. Okay, so for this guy here, I think I have a little piece that I can use. Maybe not. All right, so this guy here, I didn't measure him ahead of time to see if we are going to fussy cut these dots or not. If we look at the cover quilt ever so carefully, doesn't really focus in, but here you can't see, I can't see to the naked eye that the dot, actually I can see, the dot is fussy cut. So let's see if we can make it happen. All right, so this is our Rotary Mate ruler, which I really, really love. And yes, we absolutely can fussy cut this. So I am centering here along this whole strip. I'm going to cut some little squares. Let's see here. All right. Let me get my rotary cutter. Oh, another thing too, if you're sewing on anything, is when is the last time you have changed your needle or oiled your machine? I had I was working yesterday and my machine actually told me, this is the first time I've ever seen this happen, uh, told me it was time to oil my machine. So, we probably shouldn't wait for the machines to tell us when to do things, but I thought that was really helpful, and I thought it was a good reminder for me to tell you, go ahead and make sure you take some time to oil your machine. Now look at that. Isn't that pretty? It's so pretty. All right, so I need to make 6 of those for 6 different blocks. I know there's a little bit of a glare here. So how did everyone enjoy the snow today? A little cold, yeah. But that means it is quilting season, right? If it weren't cold, then we wouldn't need all the quilts. So I'm very thankful for quilting season, given that I sell fabric. What do you do with all your little schnibbies here? Do you have a little project? Do you toss them? Back before I was shop owner, Julie, I would save all the schnibbies and I would make teeny tiny little blocks out of teeny tiny little pieces of fabric. Shop owner Julie doesn't do that. All right, so I'm going to get 4 or 5 here. I know I have another scrap, so I'm not going to go into cutting a second strip here for that. I'll grab that last one from a different piece. Okay, so these here we'll throw over there. Then what we need is we need some pieces here. As I said, I overcut last time for my little strip sets. So I'm just going to be efficient and I'm going to use these leftovers to cut what I need for this block. And just hopping over to where I need to be. Okay, so it's tiny, 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 tiny. Whew. Let's see here. So I have these stacked. If you're going to have them stacked, be careful, make sure that they are aligned. Let's go here so that we can better use the fabric. See, these are like the size of the schnibbies I was tossing. Oh my goodness, that's tiny. All right. So when you're cutting something like this that is super tiny, you want to make sure that you are precisely cutting. Okay, so when I'm trimming down from pieces, I'm actually trimming on all sides here so that I can take advantage of having really nice, clean cuts. All right, just a couple more, and then we will cut our stargazer color. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just take one of this then to do what I need to do. right. So any big plans for Thanksgiving? Are you serving dinner at your house? Are you going away? Are you just hunkering down and having a great sewing weekend? We're going to be closed at the store for the whole Thanksgiving weekend. We're going to let the Quilty staff enjoy a long weekend with their families. But don't worry, we are going to have a ton of deals online during that time that I will entice you with. So you'll be able to get all sorts of exciting things from us that weekend if you are a shopper. All right, here we go. Here's our little guys there. And then for our last fabric, some of them from here, and then we'll have to cut into, yes, we'll have to cut into another piece. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, let's just prepare 5 because I have 5 dots prepared. How does that sound? I think that sounds good. So I'm going to power cut again. If you're power cutting, always be careful. It was really interesting. I was trying to find the Klutz glove online for a customer, and that product has been discontinued. I didn't know that. All right, so using some leftover pieces here, I stacked them up pretty neat, but I am making a straight cut on all sides so that I can make sure to have a nice clean cut on all the sides. I like it when I'm able to reuse pieces and not waste so much fabric. And then you have some confetti. All right. So here we go. Got some fabric here to make some mini log cabins. I'm just going to get on a little transfer board here. So I can go to the sewing area there. And then I'm going to see if I can change the positioning here on the camera again. Do, do, do. All right. So I'm going to take these and I'm going to connect this to this on all of them. I have 5 set up. You're going to make a total of 6, but I didn't want you to have to watch me search for fabric. So the way that we're going to be doing this is that in reality, it's an L, so it doesn't really matter. If you want it to be symmetrical, you could have 3 of them look like this and 3 of them look like this. And so we're going to do that. And so I can put all of them on the same way, and then it'll change based on how I put the second log on, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to go ahead and line these up. It's a super small piece, so I'm not going to worry about a pin here. And Beth, I haven't come up with my leader and ender pattern yet. Ay, ay. So that's on the to-do list. On the to-do list. These tiny pieces are like candy. Almost takes you more time to cut them out than it does to put them together. So I had a customer talk to me over the weekend, and she was a little hesitant of signing up for this program and buying the kit because she was afraid that it was too advanced of a program. And you know what? It really isn't, because the only hard thing you have are those circles. Otherwise, it's just your traditional straight sewing, a few half square triangles, nothing that you haven't seen. And then for the circle component, well, I think that's an excellent skill builder. And we'll look at um, how we can do that most efficiently. Okay, so I have an extra one because I only have 5 dots and I needed 6 dots. Cut here. And now I am going to, since these are so super, super tiny, I am going to go to the pressing board. Oftentimes I just finger press these, but I'm going to, what do you think? I press them. And when I press them, I do press them open. Oh, I actually think it's going to be okay. All right. Changed my mind. After this round, we'll go to the ironing board. So I'm going to have half of them go this way and half of them go this way, right? Because we are 2 halves of a butterfly. Once again, there is no reason to do that. I just am being completely OCD here. Okay? Why not? Hi, Fran. Thanks for joining us tonight. All right, so we're going here and we're going here. All right. Did I cut enough of these? I don't know. We'll find out. We're cutting more of everything. All right, so we're going to feed this through. So I'm curious to see what Linda's going to do with this one. So Linda's sewing along, but she doesn't like to use the solids because she says there's so many other pretty fabrics that Tula makes that she doesn't want to waste them on silly solids. So I can't wait to see the combinations that Linda puts together. Doing the mineral agate would be really, really a nice option. Did I tell you that there are going to be not only the white, but 2 additional new colors of fairy dust? I'm so excited. So in 2023, there's going to be 2 new colors, which are actually a reprinting of older colors from Pinkerville. So that bright green and the bright purple. So that is super exciting that that's going to be added to the True Color reorderable collection in 2023. I cannot wait. All right, so my 5 tiny, 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 tiny blocks. Now remember, when you're doing your log cabin here, it's really important that if your logs don't line up to the width, that you have to evaluate either your cutting or your piecing, because you don't want to have to trim down. You want this to match up exactly. And that's one of the precision piecing exercises that we have. All right, I'm going to quick hop over to the ironing board. So I'm going to put this up on view here so that you can ponder and be excited about what that possibly could be. Ooh, ah, ooh, what could it be? I think you should guess. So as a recap of the colors that we're using here, this is the peony palm in the center, the sweet pea solid as the first log, and the stargazer solid as the second log. All right, just a couple more here. Oh yeah, and I gotta show you this really awesome. So this is here is still my Olicio iron, which is really a wonderful iron. But did I tell you I picked up a really awesome new iron from Market that I cannot wait to show you? It'll make a great gift to yourself this holiday season. All right. So, oop, there are no guesses as to what this is. This is a teaser sampler pack to the Queen of Diamonds sew along that is next year. Oh, so exciting. So I have block 1 here, and I just had to taunt you with that to, I don't, taunt is a wrong word, tease you with it, share some excitement. Super exciting. So we have to be finished with this by next June so that we can start working on that. How does that sound? I think that sounds spectacular. All right, so short logs on the side here, short, 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 short. So now we're going to go and we're going to take our stargazer short and we're going to put on the short side. 2. We're going to make L's, right? And once again, we're making 5 blocks because I didn't have the fabric handy to cut the 6th one. That's okay. You get the gist of it. And I don't have Beth's leader and ender quilt ready to go yet, so we're just sewing scraps. Once again, tiny, tiny, tiny pieces, so I am not pinning. One thing that you can do if you are having challenges holding things, so is use a stiletto. So this is the curved awl, which is one beautiful stiletto. I'll have to show you the Tula stilettos. I don't have one at home here. I should though, especially for our sew along. But the way you do this is that you use it instead of your finger and you can get closer. Do you see that? That's how you use a stiletto when you're sewing. You use it instead of your finger to get really, really close to the needle to help hold everything in place. So, especially when you're working with the little pieces, it can be very helpful. It's also nice to be able to sweep underneath to, you can't really see what I was doing there, to sweep underneath to be able to move those open seams to the side. Okay, so what I would do is when it gets the needles coming here, and then I go like this to make sure that the seam stays open as it's going through the machine, if that makes sense. Hi, Sharon. Thanks for joining us tonight. Where I really use a stiletto is, well, number one, when I'm binding. Number two, when I'm working with cuddle to help lay the pile down. But using it here, or, going around a tricky corner, using it on tiny piecing like this is also really helpful. And another thing, which is really a good thing, and I haven't really talked about it, is that you want to make sure when you're sewing, especially small, that you have a single hole needle plate on your machine. Now that means you can't do a zigzag, but if you have a 1/4 inch foot on your machine, you can't do a zigzag with that foot anyhow. So that is just very, very helpful. Beth wants me to do her cutting for her, especially those fussy cut circles, right? Ha! You're on your own, Beth. I'll sew with you, but I won't cut for you. Or maybe I should rephrase that. Maybe she wants to pay me untold amounts of money. That could be my new business, cutting squares out of the palms. That could be fun. All right, so once again, I have 5 because I didn't cut 6 dots. So I finger press that round, and I am going to attach. Oops. Now see, it's really important to pay attention. Where are you putting this, right? Where are you putting this? You want to put it on the side with your previous log. So you could put it on the opposite side and you'd still have the same size block, but it wouldn't look right. So once again, I'm continuing with half of my blocks left and half of them right so that I have the symmetrical blocks. Why? Because I might be a little OCD. All right, so I'm telling you all my secrets here. But if you knew me, you already knew that personality trait of mine. All right. Oh my gosh, these are so cute. Well, this isn't quite as small as like the super tiny Juicy Juice blocks that have like 10 billion pieces in the tiny, tiny little blocks. Those are foundation pieced. If you have the need for a stiletto and you don't have one at home, fear not. You all have a seam ripper. You can always use the back side, this point, as a stiletto in a pinch. Let me show you how that works. So I am the queen of the make do because, you know, as a shop owner, you'd think that I have everything at home in my disposal. And the answer is exactly the opposite. because I get all these great things for my sewing room, and then I need them for a demo at the store and so then I bring it to the store, and then I end up making something late at night and don't end up having the tool that I need. So then I figure out how to use all sorts of other stuff to do what I need to do. So I would recommend the actual stiletto more, but in a pinch, the back side of the seam ripper can work very nicely. All right, so here we go, one more. Ta-da! So does anybody have anything to ask me while I'm pressing these out? You're all probably so busy sewing that you don't have anything to ask me, and that's just fine. I love it that you're being productive. Love, love, love it. So we have a really good program scheduled for Thursday on our Must Sew TV from the store. We'll be featuring our Moda University, but we also have that new Tula quilt quilted, and that is a mashup of the runway strut pattern from Robin Pickens and Tula Pink Fabric, the Moon Garden. So that is super exciting. We have all of that stuff in stock for you to be able to show you. All right. So let me let's look here overhead. So we have beautiful blocks here. We have two that are that way. Actually, three that are that way, and two that are this way because I need to cut a little bit more fabric. Yay! Well, I am going to just quick cut my last piece here. Actually, I can't because I don't have more of the Stargazer here. Oh no. So we are going to end just a titch early tonight. So see if you're following along for the first time or near the first time, we make sure that it is super, super easy and easy to be able to just fit in small chunks of this quilt. If you had all six of your fabrics or all six blocks ready to go, you'd be able to, in that hour, just be able to sew those up in no time. Next week, we'll be working on the medium log cabin, and then the medium log cabin has a few extra blocks. So in that, we will have, how many? We are going to be making a total of 6, but there's 3 different fabric combinations. That block, let me just show you here. So for the medium, we're going to be making this one, this one. Nope, that's the, is that this medium? 3 different ones. So we're going to be doing them in the blues. So it is these guys right here. And it's going to have the 3 different fabric combinations with 2 different fabric sets. You're going to be using these for one of the sets, and then the bottom row and the topaz will be the 2 other ones, okay? So make sure to have those fabrics ready for next week's block. We still have a sewing session, even though we are going to have our Thanksgiving. And you know what? With it being Thanksgiving week as well, next week, we are going to be, as I said, we're going to have some really great specials. And I will give you a sneak peek into those specials if you tune in next Tuesday night so you can find out about some stuff before anybody else does. So if that isn't incentive enough to tune in, I don't know what is. I'd like to thank you for watching. If there are no other questions, I will see you on Thursday night for Must Sew TV. And if you have any questions after watching this, just make sure to mention them in the comments, send an email, stop in, give a call, and I'd be more than happy to help you through on this. Particularly if you have problems with your logs matching up, and so you're having a little bit of problem with your seam allowance or your cutting, come on in because we want to make sure that you can be successful in your program. With that, I will bid you a good night, happy quilting, and we'll see you soon.